Hello, this is Veena V and you're watching VIPregnancy.com, and right now I'm joined by a fabulous baby sleep expert. It is Jo Tantum.
Hello, Veena. Hello.
Can I just say, look how gorgeous Jo is looking. Where did you get your fabulous necklace from?
It was actually attached to a top that I bought. Oh. So it's it's kind of having to accessorize lots of different things. When I'm doing different videos and things, it's quite nice to just be, sort of jazz it up a little bit.
I love that. I'm really bad at accessorizing, but you've done that really well.
Thank you very much.
Round of applause, Jo.
Thank you.
Right, we are here to talk about sleeping because you're a baby sleep expert. We're going to give you top 5 tips on how to get your baby to sleep through the night. Now, when my son was born, and for about a year, I did not sleep. He would just wake up all the time. Now it's great. He's a toddler and he sleeps from 8 p.m. till 7 a.m.
Brilliant.
So I'm loving it. So what are your top 5 tips for us?
I think one of the main things is starting a natural routine as soon as possible, because the thing is, as you get further down the line, you're more tired. And the more tired you get, when you start getting to sort of sleepless nights at sort of 5, 6, 7, 8 months, you start thinking, oh, I can't do this anymore. Especially if you're going back to work, it's really difficult. So think about how you want to do a routine, and it doesn't have to be strict. That's a problem. Most people think a routine and run away screaming with their hands in their head. I'm not doing a routine. It has to be natural, and that's the whole point. So my top tip is a brilliant tip, is that you write down for 48 hours the baby's sleeping times and feeding times. And this way you get a natural routine. So you actually look and you see, you personalise it to your baby, because there's nothing worse than a routine that you've seen in a book and you think, right, my baby's got to do that, and they try and do it.
Oh, that's what I do.
But the thing is, what you have to think about is it's what you choose to do. Some people are routine people. So if you're a routine person, you want to do a routine. Some people are sort of go with the flow people. What happens is you kind of start getting a little bit stuck and you're doing a little bit here and a little bit there, and you do change lots of things. So a 48-hour log for your baby's sleeping and feeding pattern, so you can get the natural pattern personalised to your baby. So you're not shoving them into a routine that they then get upset with, and then you get stressed and they get stressed. The next tip is to make sure that you don't do lots of different things because you panic, because you're sleep deprived, and that's a torture in itself. I mean, who doesn't want a good night's sleep? And as you know, a year later, you were still finally.
I didn't actually know what day it was sometimes. Seriously, all the days would just merge in. I was like, what day is it today?
Yeah. But stick at it for 7 days, because what will happen is babies will naturally do something for about 7 days, okay? And they'll start getting it into their head. Day 3 and 4 can be quite difficult, because as we're built as human beings, if we do something for 3 or 4 days and it doesn't work, we give up. Because that's what we do, that's how so what happens is babies
don't give up.
Don't give up, exactly. And because the minute you give up, your baby's like, oh, okay, and then you say to your other half, okay, next week we're going to try this, okay, and the baby's like, so what are we doing this week? And they're completely confused, and you're like, well, I don't know what's happening. So try and stick to it 7 days and 7 nights and do the same thing, and then if it doesn't work, then try something else. But at least you've given it a good go, and then you can tick that on the list of that's not what's happening.
You should always kind of see it through, because I've kind of done that stuff. It's been so difficult, but you have to see it through, because then you'll get the benefits at the end, won't you?
You get the results. And the other thing is, your baby wants to sleep, it just doesn't know how to. So my top tip is, babies do want to sleep, but as parents, because we want to do the best possible job that we can do, you get your babies, if they've got colic or they've got tummy gripes or whatever, or particularly reflux, you're holding them here to help them get to sleep, because that's the only way they'll go to sleep. What happens is that becomes a sleep prop. So that was the only way they'll go to sleep. So try and get your baby sleeping without a sleep prop. So the sleep prop is obviously holding them, rocking them. There was a survey just out actually last week. Apparently 72% of parents get their babies to sleep by rocking. 72%.
Wow, that is a lot.
Yes. That is a lot.
That is a lot. And I'm laughing because I probably did that.
But most people do. So one of my main top tips I tell parents to do is have a dream feed. So if you didn't know what a dream feed is, it's where you wake your baby just before you're going to bed, which seems absolutely crazy.
Yeah, before you carry on with that, I read about this so much when I was a new mum, about dream feed, but I just seem to think it's a bit wrong, because you're waking your baby up from this deep sleep.
Yes.
A prime example was last night, and my baby's not even a baby anymore, and I had to wake him up to put him upstairs because he better sleep on the floor. And then he just got like completely like just crying and then it took me probably about, well, not too long, but 15 minutes to kind of calm him down.
Yeah.
So is dream feed like good? Is it okay?
Well, okay, I'll explain why the dream feed works. Okay, so we always have one long sleep in 24 hours. Okay, so babies do the same. They have one long sleep in 24 hours. Now you don't want the long sleep to be in the day because it can be great. You've got time. You think, oh, brilliant! I've got 5 hours. I'm going to do the hoovering. I'm going to, or just sit on the internet and play on the iPad or whatever you're going to do. And the other thing is, if you don't actually do that long sleep. When you're going to have your long sleep, what babies will do is, so you wake them up from a deep sleep, then you're resetting your clock, and they're going to do their long sleep between 11 and 7 a.m., which is actually when we're having our long sleep, which is very, very, it's more refreshing sleep for us and for babies. So my last tip seems to be, some parents think it's an amazing idea and some parents don't. All of my advice is not pushed on anybody, okay? So people come to me and say, please help me, Jo. I don't know what to do. I'm on my knees, help me. So you choose whichever parenting way that you want to do. And I don't judge anybody. If you whatever you want to do, whichever parent you want to do, I'm just here to help.
I think that's really great Jo said that, because sometimes I've watched videos like this or read books. I'm like, that advice she's giving is not working for me. So what you said, this advice might not work for everyone. You're just giving that advice and, it might, well, hopefully it will work.
Well, the whole point is you choose little bits of what people have said and mould it into what you want to be as a parent. The top tip that I tend to say to parents is, obviously you're having your baby in the room with you at night time. Obviously, as long as you want your baby in the room for. Some parents make sure that it's 6 months. Some parents find it really, really difficult to sleep, so it can be slightly earlier. But what they don't realise is that you have to put the baby into the nursery at 6 months. So you've got this nursery and it's beautifully decorated. I mean, the amount that people spend on nurseries is unbelievable. And you know how many pristine nurseries I go into? Oh, it's just beautiful. It's all laid out. It's wonderful. And the baby's
Didn't Adele spend about 300,000? I think.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Something ridiculous.
Elton John, they spent a ridiculous amount. I mean, their crib alone was £2,500. Just the crib.
What is the point when they're a baby?
Well, what is the point? We're not going to use it. So what I try and tell parents to do is listen, especially if you've got a toddler running around, okay? It's so important for your toddler that the baby goes into their nursery in the daytime for naps. Now, you don't have to worry about them not being near you because they don't go into that deep sleep, obviously, which is a scissor. So they don't go into a deep sleep, they nap. It's a very, very light sleep. So you want your toddler to understand that it's mummy time and the baby's not there all the time. So it's really nice. So if your toddler's having tantrums or you've got older children, you can just say, listen, mummy's just going to feed the baby and then it's time. The baby's going to have a nap and let's go and find a puzzle. So introducing the nursery for the baby, from quite early on means that the baby knows it's their space, it's a familiar smell, it's familiar surroundings, and then when you decide that your baby's going to go into their room, into their nursery at whatever age from your room, you know that they're going to be familiar with the thing. So I think that's a really good top tip. So have a think about that as well.
And definitely try that tip because, I was naughty. My son did sleep with me from about the age of 1 until 2. Yeah. But then when he got his own room, when he was 2, he just went in there because he was like, I'm actually fed up of sleeping next to you. So I think every child, again, is different, isn't it? High five on all the tips. Come and see us again soon. I love that high five. I was so hit this. Well, I'll high five you then. Goodbye, and we'll see you next time on VIPregnancy.com.
Thank you. You know how you get the baby just here and they're asleep and you get there and you get there and then you just put them. Oh gosh, that's my phone.
Oh no.
Let's dance.
Tonight's gonna be a
good night.
We'll see you in part 2.
Tonight's gonna be good.